they did. And I'm not saying, dude, don't like do something for him, but like, yo, they gave the family his dog. How much is a dog worth? You know what I mean? Like they
Yeah, exactly.
and they're painting him out to be they're acting like he died in like a shootout, dude. He chose to pull somebody over on the side of the highway for a seat belt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not you shouldn't be focusing on that. And it's sad to say, but was it really worth it? You know what I mean? Like was no, you shouldn't even be hassling people for that. It's not like you're gonna keep the highway safe. You know what I mean? What are you keeping safer?
Right. Well, I mean that should be a personal preference. If somebody doesn't want to wear a seatbelt, but look at all the people that have died from wearing a seatbelt. Their car flip upside down, the car catch
No,
fire, and they
or
didn't
they
have a
drowned.
seatbelt, or they drowned. Yeah. So it should be a personal preference as far as seatbelts go. It's just
I
another
agree.
way for them to make money against the people. It's just another
No, it
way for
is,
them
and
to
that's
make
why
money.
that's all they focus on. It's literally all they focus on is the pettiest of ones.
Yeah.
That speeding, but like, dude, you shouldn't be. What up, swine? Lou, what up, guys? I don't think press harder. What up, bro?
What's up, Press
I don't think.
Harder?
I don't think. I don't think you should be pulling somebody over for a goddamn seatbelt. If they choose not to wear it, it's what's it affecting? It's affecting them, and they're a full-grown adult, and they can make their own decisions.
Correct.
That's how I feel. Like, and they're not harming. You're not keeping accidents down. It's not doing anything for accidents. It's still going to happen.
Yeah. Well, that's why
And if that,
a lot of people talk about drugs. You know what I mean? If you want to put drugs into your body, that's your own personal preference. But they made it to where they can get money out of you possessing something that should have never been illegal. I mean, in 1953 is whenever they really started
yeah,
putting felonies against drugs and stuff like that. And before then, peyote was a big thing back on the street. You can go to your local hardware store and buy it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like
I
I
mean,
said,
people,
it's all, to me, it's a money scheme, and I
yeah,
agree.
they create the crimes. You know what I mean? Literally.
Well, you got to figure the Bill of Rights had our 10 amendments.
Yep.
Since then, it went from 10 to 1.3 million different laws that are now in effect. 1.3 million different laws that are in effect from our first 10 amendments. You know what I mean? And it's just ridiculous to hear.
Yeah, and look at how many of them don't even involve a victim. You know what I mean, or anything. They're literally just robbing you just off of a maybe. Oh, you didn't listen. You know what I mean? You should have listened to what we said. Like,
Correct.
who did I hurt? I didn't hurt anybody. There's no victim, dude. There should be no crime.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Like, and like this trooper, man. We'll see. I'll bring it up. But like, yo, this is literally. I mean, it's sad to see because he did die. But like, I don't think I wouldn't get out on the side of any of our highways up here for anything unless I absolutely had to, and that's a fact. Like literally, you couldn't pay me, and then you guys are gonna do it, and you literally put your life at risk for that ticket and for that seatbelt, like, and it wasn't worth it. He's got two kids, two young ass kids that are gonna grow up without a father now. His wife has no husband, all because he wanted to go after that person for a seatbelt. That a full grown adult minding his own business. You know what I mean? Like literally just doing his thing. And
Well, I always believe that you should be able to pull off the highway. You should be able to pull into a well-lit gas station.
absolutely, but if you
Especially
tried
if
to,
you're
dude, they're
speeding.
gonna hit you.
So
Like literally, that's what if you were like, oh, this isn't safe, I'm gonna keep going. They're gonna pit you, or they're gonna hit you with evading. You know what I mean? When you're literally looking out for your safety and their safety, they want you
right.
to pull over right there, which is I don't know. And like the way they said he got hit too, like the guy didn't even stop. They caught him down the road after, but they hit him in the shoulder. How the hell did he hit him in the shoulder? You know what I mean? Like
Well,
he sideswiped him, but you take out his whole goddamn body. You're not gonna just hit him with your shoulder.
right. And
Like,
I mean, you and me have both seen plenty of footage of
yeah,
people
yeah.
getting hit on the side of the highway, cars getting slammed. I
Dude,
mean,
if you Google it, there's like 4 or 5 just from Connecticut, like where cars are sliding into their car or they're jumping the guardrail. Like there's a bunch of them. It happens all the time. And now they're going to push over the move over law, or you know what I mean? Oh, do this, that. Like, bro, it wasn't a law abiding citizen that just hit that guy. The dude was all messed up, dude, on drugs. He was all messed up, and he hit him. It's not like some regular person. You know what I mean? The dude said he was literally out. So
yeah,
pushing pushing more stuff on us that for the people that didn't even have anything to do with it is kind of and watch, dude. Wait till you see what the fit these ladies throw on this show, dude, because they wouldn't let them fly the flag, the thin blue line flag. It's kind of disgusting how they talk, like, and it's pathetic. Like they voted, they want the firefighter. He was an ex-chief firefighter. I think that's who it was in Wethersfield. He wanted to fly the flag for the funeral, and the town voted it down. They said no. A lot of people, it represents racism and hate. You know what I mean? It's basically a you know what I mean? You can't fly it, and we have a no hate policy. So they chose to not fly it, but then they left the pride flag up because it was Pride Month. Which, I mean,
Yeah. Well, the
I
different
think
flags, but clearly, it says you are
yeah,
not to alter the American flag. You can make up your own flags, do whatever you want to with your own,
yeah,
these rainbow flags. Go for it. You know what I mean? If that's what you feel
yeah.
like you go do it. But you're not supposed to alter the American flag
Well,
in
and
any way.
but I think that's why it happened the way it happened here. You know what I mean? They left the rainbow flag. They literally did, and they said no, we're not going to fly that flag. But and it's funny to hear these people, these ladies that sit in chairs and desks in these, you know what I mean, newsrooms all day, and their opinions on stuff. Like, because these ladies are really upset, and they're talking about what this flag represents to them. And bro, you don't even go out there. You've never been out there and seen how they interact with the public. You know what I mean? You're sitting here blindly supporting somebody. Like,
Oh, I'm sure all those cops that go home at night, they have their own stories and they make themselves out to be the heroes. But in
oh, of
reality, they
course,
should be going home telling their wives, "Hey, I had to violate people's rights because if I went against that thin blue line, I'd have dead feces and rats stuck in my locker. I wouldn't get backup calls. If I made a backup call because I needed support on a traffic stop, I wouldn't get it. And I've always said it. I believe some people do want to become cops to do the right thing, but once
oh,
they get in and
absolutely,
realize the policies that they have to abide by with the other police officers, that's not
you
what they
know,
signed up for. But they have to
no,
follow it. Why? Because they know what happens if they don't follow it. And it's horrible, dude. And that's 98% of the problem with these cops that are actually trying to get in and do the right thing. They're screwed with the second they sign that contract with the government.
yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
We got Four Corners, Fist in the Air in here, Press Harder,
Yeah, I can't see chat, so if y'all are
Cammed
in
Up
chat,
Caveman, Michigan Constitutional Crusader, Lenny, Bootlicker. Yeah, I don't know how that works. Here, we'll start this though. Look at this stuff, dude. This is just some like it starts off with like the procession and it shows some of the stuff, and then at the end, dude, it's got the ladies. But there's little spots I think where I gotta pause it. So let's see. How do I do this?
you guys know how to work out.
There we go. So that was like the procession, but they even brought all their dogs. Look at how. Do you see
Yeah,
how many
they're
people were there? They're
incredible.
all on the clock. That's all our money, dude. Like I get you guys want to go to the funeral, but I don't see the need to bring all the state vehicles there, leave them running. You know what I mean? Bring the dogs. It's for what? That's a lot of
Yeah,
dude. That's a lot of money sitting right there. Like for really, they could go without all that stuff. And these, let's not forget, I added this in there. These are the same cops who just got caught for writing what upwards of 60,000 fake tickets. Um, You know what I mean? And they all got off scot free on that. All of them. Like
yeah,
I think they got it down from over 100 to I think the last I heard was 13, and now that's going to disappear and we'll never hear about it again. But like, dude, hundreds of cops have been breaking the law for five what since 2017, and they just let them all off. Like
yeah.
it's the same people, bro. And it's crazy. I feel like oh, they're trying to get everybody back in their favor now. And like I forgot when it was, but the state our cops in Connecticut have killed over 20 something people, dude, in the last 5 years. Like this guy right here murdered, like straight up murdered a dude, and he just beat trial. Like how do you like it? He was guilty. He killed the dude, and they never get held accountable here. And then when the tables turn, it's the complete opposite. Like, they don't do any of this for any of their victims. They don't do anything.
No,
And
of course
that's
not.
what blows my mind, dude, is like they kill people all the time, and we don't really see them do anything for them. They're definitely not starting GoFundMe's with them and donating to their families. So it's
No,
just
and that's including the innocent people that get shot for no reason. You
yeah.
know what?
No, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the guilty people are. I mean, you put yourself there. It's kind of hard to beat that, but they hurt plenty of people, hurt and kill plenty of innocent people here all the time. Like,
Yeah.
and it's pathetic. I don't think
And it's
there's any
going on.
more.
It's going on. It's going on everywhere. And you know,
Yeah,
and what I think kind of sucks is, people, they see stuff where people get killed, but Americans are so used to routine. They see a story, like even on our channels, they see stories and they change the channel to the next story, and they'll kind of forget about the story that that we were highlighting at that moment. And it's repetitive. You know what I mean? People are so used to getting back into their routine, they'll forget about something that happened. We don't ever
well,
need to
yeah,
forget.
and we don't stand up for anything. Dude, back in the day, like look at in France, man, they get done dirty. Them they protest or they protest. You know what I mean? They literally got their farmer taxes reversed or whatever it was. You know what I mean? Just from standing up, and nobody does it. I mean, I feel like every time somebody gets their rights violated, the whole town should stand up and be outside yelling. You know what I mean? Like, it
Yeah,
blows my mind that it's like you said, people are just so programmed, and if it doesn't directly affect them, you know what I mean? It doesn't directly affect them.
yeah.
It's
And
just
a lot of our channels, that's why I tell a lot of people, complaint forms. Yeah, I've had 4 cops here in Louisiana. They've had to, they've left the departments I left the complaints at, but we know damn well they went to another police department somewhere else. I can name 2 off the top of my head here in Louisiana that switch to different departments. But when we put complaints in and do these lawsuits, and everybody knows lawsuits comes out of the taxpayers. This is no news
yeah,
story. We already know it comes out of the taxpayers' pockets. And there's been several times, that you hear auditors say, "Okay, we're going to get a complaint." They said that they don't care because they literally don't care. But I believe that's the reason. I believe the best thing that we can do, and what we're trying to do on our pages, is expose what's really going on, wake up as many people as we can wake up. And the petitioning of the government, I think, does more damage and ego trip to these police departments and sheriff's departments and state troopers associations than it does anything. If you call and address your governments, they actually have to deal with the people instead of being able to take a piece of paper and throw it in the grinder for a complaint, or pay these thousands and millions of dollars in settlements when it's not affecting them any at all. You know what I mean? And that's why I said,
yeah,
that's why I always believed in petitioning our government is one of the, for redress of grievances, is one of the number one things that we could be doing, because then they're having to deal with the people that are actually witnessing what's going on.
yeah.
Fight.
I agree. Let's see. There's more. Let me see if this goes. I don't think there's any more talking. I think it goes back to the video. Oh, right here. No, actually, it talks here. They said this comp's been. He understood the risks. He's took it. He survived 2 crashes, one in 2016 and one in 2023. So he's been in two wrecks. Doesn't say how severe, but and then they said the guy that actually crashed, he was convicted of in 2007 for third-degree murder, sentenced to 6 years in prison, but it's unclear of how much time he actually spent in prison. Then a year later, he was charged with 3 counts of attempted homicide, and then the court did not know if he served any time on those crimes. So this dude's been in trouble, but he didn't intentionally go out and you know what I mean. Oh, I'm going to kill this cop. He fell asleep because he was all messed up and he ended up sideswiping him. But he's gonna be done. And it's crazy because I wonder how much time they're going to give him. There was actually just a New Haven cop that I found. He was just sentenced this year. He went to Vegas with 3 of his buddies from the department, dude. They got in a crash out there one night, late, all drunk, and one of the dudes died. They gave him 2 to 5 years in Vegas.
Yeah,
What do you think this guy's going to get? More than that.
more than that. Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, this goes into the thing now. We'll see what they got to say.
Breaking news following a
Ooh.
tonight.
Yeah, we're just learning the name and face of the man accused of killing Trooper Aaron Pelletier in the line of duty yesterday. We have a picture here. This is 44-year-old Alex Oyola Sanchez from Hartford. He's facing a list of charges including manslaughter and operating under the influence of drugs or alcohol. He is being held on $5 million bond. He's expected in court at any time this morning. So we're going to recap what we know about what happened yesterday. Trooper First Class Aaron Pelletier was hit by a pickup truck on I-84 in Southington yesterday afternoon. He was conducting a traffic stop at the time as part of a special safety enforcement patrol. Investigators say Pelletier was talking with the driver that he pulled over when the pickup truck crossed onto the shoulder, sideswiped his cruiser, and then hit him in the shoulder. Pelletier died at the scene. The driver who hit him kept on going on I-84 East until he reached exit Route 9 there, and that is where his truck became disabled, and police were able to arrest him there. And again, we now know he is Alex Oyola Sanchez from Hartford. Last night, police from all over Connecticut took part in a procession to transport Trooper Pelletier's body to the Chief Medical Examiner's office in Farmington. Officers and so many in the community lined the route to pay their respects.
Hi, good morning. And they're doing that right now. We're starting to see a larger police presence here at the office of the Chief Medical Examiner in Farmington. Now we're awaiting a procession from here to a funeral home in Southington. That's expected to happen a little bit later this morning. We'll keep you updated on that. But this is also in addition to the large procession that we saw yesterday to here at the Chief Medical Examiner's office. You can take a look at this footage. This is from that procession yesterday. You can see all of those flashing blue and red lights, dozens and dozens of first responders taking part in that procession to show their support. That line of cruisers and motorcycles traveled all the way down I-84 to here in Farmington. That's where Trooper Pelletier was taken. Large flags line the entrance into the Chief Medical Examiner's office as community members lined the road. That was a very difficult scene for many people to watch, many people putting their hands over their hearts as that procession rode by. As the first responder community mourns another on-duty death, officials across the state are mourning as well. Lieutenant Governor Susan Bysiewicz speaking out, very emotional as she spoke about Trooper Pelletier's dedication. She says she met Trooper Pelletier 2 weeks ago when her staff car was actually stopped as part of a safety check.
State troopers are out every
Yo, what's a safety check? You just pulled them over? Like what?
A safety check is like whenever they do like state inspections and, but a safety check, I would think I'd put in along the lines, if I'm wrong, people tell me in chat, but that would be like a DWI checkpoint or a seatbelt, like basically a checkpoint is what I would imagine.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure though, but I was wondering.
Because like a DWI would be a safety check, a seatbelt would be a safety check.
Yep.
Like a state inspection check would be something different, I would imagine, or even speed traps.
They're just pulling over, collecting revenue. Like they're just trying to get people for petty stuff.
Which is against the Constitution because we have a freedom of travel in the Constitution, and any of those situations would be a situation where you're stopping people's freedom.
Yeah, you should never stop somebody. I don't think you should be able to pull over anybody for no goddamn good reason. I don't care if you're doing a checkpoint or not. You shouldn't be able to do it. Like
Right.
it's that easy. You want to stop that car, get a legal reason.
Right. Well, they like to use if you're in high drug rate area that you're suspicious just because you're driving through an area where there's a lot of drugs being sold. Or
well, it's funny that you said that because I didn't even know they still did them in Connecticut. I thought they stopped like all together doing stops like that. But I've been reading lately and I've been finding that they're doing them in little spot like the cities, Hartford. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's just like when I got stopped at that car wash, I was there for 3 or 4 minutes before that they decided to tell me that I was loitering, and there's a lot of drug activity that goes on at that car wash, and you know what I mean. But that still doesn't give them the right,
No.
There has to be a certain amount of time, but they, they're going to do what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Until people start standing up completely, the
Yeah.
only thing that we can do is keep on exposing what's really going on. And I don't ever plan on stopping because some of the stuff they do is, of course, is overstepping their boundaries. But then, like I said, then they get people like this lined up along the street, there's no telling how many violations that cop pulled on people and violated.
Well, that's
people's
yeah,
rights.
dude. I tried looking up if he had any disciplinary stuff today, and literally you type his name in, and the only thing that comes up is all this stuff. There's not, you can't even find anything on him. And like, it's funny because whenever the cops in Connecticut, it's here, if they shoot somebody on duty or kill somebody, they release the footage like within the next day or two. There's footage from this. I mean, there may not be footage from, you know what I mean, the guy coming up and hitting him, but there's body camera and there's car footage. So if they release it for everybody else, why aren't they releasing it for this guy? You know what I mean? They're trying to save him some I don't know. You know what I mean? His family from having to see. I don't know what it is, but
You know how they like to redact. They're going to redact everything that ever went bad because they want him to supposedly get what he deserves, basically. But pulling somebody over for a traffic, I mean, it shows, because I mean, they always, cops always want to bring up that some of their most dangerous things that they do in the line of duty is stopping just random people for random things. That's where a lot of the
Well,
officer
yeah.
safety comes along at, is because of traffic stops. Here in Louisiana, and August 1st, they're pushing me back 25 feet. You know what I mean? That goes against the Constitution. Everybody knows that. We're supposed to be able to audio and video record what's going on. But, it's just another way for them to, I mean, they're just taking authority here, there, and yonder. And I plan on it being fought here. I plan on fighting it here. But as far
You're
as,
gonna have to. You're gonna be the only one down there to do it. That
Yeah.
or like a real news agency. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Mainstream's gonna have to get hit off and they'll fight it, but that'll never happen.
Mm-mm. Well, I mean, like in Arizona and a few other states, they were actually able to get it redacted. But just 6 months ago, John Bel Edwards, which was the governor here in Louisiana, just 6 months ago struck down that 25 feet law here in Louisiana. And now we've got a new governor in, and all of a sudden this new one, not just 6 months later, he signs it back into law saying, no, we're going to go and stick with this. And, John Bel Edwards, I thought he was a pretty decent one because, he was trying to stand for people's rights and say, no, we can't do this. This violates people's rights. So, but it just shows you from one to another. But
How fast
John
it
Bel
can
Edwards
change.
he was never part of law enforcement. The new governor that's in here now, he was law enforcement. So he's aware of what auditors do and stuff like that. And
He's aware of what gets exposed. You know what I mean? What a
Right.
clown. That's crazy. Let's see what else this lady's got to say.
every day on our roadways trying to protect the public. And what is so tragic about this day and losing him is that his life was lost while he was conducting a routine traffic stop to try to stop speeding, to try to make our roads safer, to try to keep the public safe by making sure that everyone who's driving is wearing a seatbelt.
We're seeing police cruisers from different departments across the state arriving here in Farmington. Now that procession is expected to begin around noon from here in Farmington to Southington.
If it's someone you know, you run into, who they have for kids, their wife, how old they are, like, it's just a life lost.
The community is in mourning the loss of Trooper First Class Aaron Pelletier. We continue to learn more about this tragedy in Southington from today. Thanks for joining us for the news at 11. I'm Mike Heideck.
And I'm Keisha Grant. For the 26th time in Connecticut, a state trooper has died in the line of duty. It all started at around 2:36 this afternoon on Interstate 84 near exit 31 in.
And remember, dude, I don't know where Truth went, but that's 26 troopers in the whole time of the Connecticut State Police. I looked at an article right before I did all this, and it was 21 people that the police have killed in the last 5 years. And some of them were justified, but some of them really didn't make any sense. And regardless, none of them get in trouble anyways. But it was, look at the numbers. 26 in 100 and something years is not that many.
In Southington, Trooper First Class Aaron Pelletier was in the middle of a routine traffic stop when he was struck by a passing pickup truck that kept going. He died at the scene.
Police later took the driver of that pickup into custody. 8 exits down the road. The truck was so badly damaged it couldn't drive anymore.
A heartbreaking day for state police, especially his colleagues here at Troop H. And tonight we're learning more about his years of service to the state, as well as the family, including 2 children he leaves behind.
Tonight we are suffering. In our small state, it feels as if we have all lost a precious member of the family.
He was a dedicated and compassionate professional. He was a role model to younger troopers, and he set a high standard for them to follow.
We met Pelletier during a ride-along back in 2018. He joined the force 9 years ago and was based at Troop H in Hartford.
This is something that he's always wanted to do. He has an infectious smile. He's always smiling. He was, I always looked at him. He always looked so young to me, and he always put a smile on your face when you saw him, and he was always happy to be.
Previously, we're told he worked for the correction. Since joining state police, held numerous special assignments, including being a canine handler. Now they honor Pelletier as he made the ultimate sacrifice, and they think about the family he leaves behind.
We want his wife, Dominique, and their 2 young sons, Troy and Zachary, to know that our state will hold you in our hearts and our prayers. We will never forget your sacrifice.
And sadly, Pelletier died in the community where he lived and grew up. We're told he was a 2007 graduate of Southington High.
As we mentioned, this tragedy all began just after 2:30 this afternoon. Trooper First Class Aaron Pelletier was working overtime, helping to keep drivers safe on the roads.
NBC Connecticut's Jeremy Chen is live in Southington with more on the event.
And that's another thing too, overtime. These dudes work so much overtime, it is ridiculous. Like, when I look at some of these cops' paychecks, dude, you would be like, or not their checks, but like their yearly earnings. Like, how did they make the $120,000, $130,000, $140,000? It's because of all the overtime. And when is too much overtime enough? Like, clearly this wasn't a great decision. Would you have made the same decision if you weren't so goddamn tired? There's a good possibility you wouldn't have. I mean, I don't know, maybe for you, but I know when I'm real tired, I don't think the same. So, when does too much overtime become public safety? Because it's weird too, and it really makes me mad is out of all this, you don't hear about the real victim. The guy that was sitting in the car that got pulled over for not choosing to wear a seatbelt, which doesn't affect anyone but him. Got pulled over and then got sideswiped and had the dude at his door unalived because of that dude's decision. That's going to affect him her, who knows, because they didn't say anything about him, but that's going to affect that person for the rest of their life. Like, it will. That's a fact. And they don't talk about that at all. It's all about this guy. It's not about the real victim in my eyes. You know what I mean? Like, it's mind-blowing. It's really mind-blowing how they, and again, look at all the money that's put into this. All those cops that are supposed to be out on the road that day and weren't because they were there. Clearly the streets will operate just fine if they're all not there. It's nuts.
The events that led up to his death, Jeremy.
Yeah, Mike and Keisha, this was the stretch of I-84 where state police say Trooper First Class Aaron Pelletier was patrolling as well as conducting a traffic stop. They also say it was while he was doing his job. He was struck and killed by a red pickup truck. Sirens blared as cars rushed to.
And no duh, it was while he was doing his job. Because if he wasn't doing his job, you can't just get out and stand on the side of the highway. So I would hope he was doing his job.
I-84 East in Southington as state police investigate the death of one of their own. They say Trooper First Class Aaron Pelletier was working overtime and conducted a traffic stop this afternoon.
It was at this time that TFC Pelletier was traveling in the left lane and had observed an operator traveling in the right lane not wearing a seatbelt.
State police say Trooper First Class Pelletier was speaking with the driver of the vehicle he stopped when a red pickup truck struck him.
Preliminary information shows that the right side wheels of the pickup were completely over the dividing line into the shoulder, sideswiped TFC Pelletier's cruiser, and then struck TFC Pelletier.
Troopers say the red pickup truck did not stop until it became disabled in the area of exit 39A in Farmington. That's when police caught with the driver.
The evading operator is currently in state police custody.
State police say Trooper First Class Pelletier died at the scene. They're stressing to drivers to obey the move over law if they ever see any emergency vehicle on the shoulder.
It could be a DOT service truck, a tow truck, a fire truck, an ambulance, or a police vehicle to slow down and move over.
Team coverage continues now with the huge outpouring of support that we've seen from across the state today. A large procession escorted the body of Trooper First Class Pelletier to the office of the Chief Medical Examiner.
NBC Connecticut's Amanda Pitts watched the procession, and she spoke to many people who gathered there to pay their respects today. She joins us live now from St. Amanda.
Yeah, Mike, Keisha, there was a huge show of support for Trooper First Class Aaron Pelletier and his family here in Southington. People filled overpasses as below the procession went by to honor that Southington native who sadly lost his life in his own community. American flags hanging from overpasses above I-84 as below the body of Trooper First Class Aaron Pelletier passed underneath.
He's not going home, you know?
The procession started at the scene on I-84 East in Southington, where the trooper lost his life in a hit and run, and ended at the medical examiner's office in Farmington. The 9-year veteran of the force, a Southington High School graduate.
Very tragic, horrible. You know, my thoughts and prayers are with his wife and his family, and just absolutely horrible.
Among the crowds on overpasses were those who knew Pelletier. This couple worked alongside him at the Department of Corrections before he became a trooper.
He was a great guy, always helpful, always very respectful, and, you know, out there trying to do the right thing and make a difference.
Of the many who gathered to pay his respects were fire departments that saluted as the procession passed, and people just driving by. Now, this community is just heartbroken. If you were watching that procession, you might have noticed it paused for a bit on the highway. That's because it took a detour through the trooper's neighborhood here in Southington with a stop by his home. Live in Southington, Amanda Pitts, NBC Connecticut News. Keisha?
Amanda, thank you. Governor Lamont has ordered flags across the state lowered to half staff in honor of Trooper First Class Aaron Pelletier. They will remain that way until his funeral.
A traffic stop turned into deadly hit and run.
A red pickup truck traveling in the right lane began to encroach upon the right shoulder.
State police say that red pickup truck veered into Trooper First Class Aaron Pelletier, then fled. This pickup truck coming to a stop and becoming disabled miles up I-84 near exit 39A in Farmington.
I was freaked out for a little while.
A driver on the highway describes what he saw next.
I saw a red pickup truck on the side of the highway with a gentleman outside of the pickup truck, and I saw the state troopers just swarming him, like giving him no chance at all. But so then as I keep driving forward, all of this stuff is going on. So I was just wondering if it had anything to do with it.
This footage, captured around the same time exclusively by NBC Connecticut, shows state police speaking with a man on foot near the spot where the red truck is stalled. Police approach him, put the man in handcuffs, then walk him to their vehicle. Troopers haven't yet confirmed that this is the driver of that pickup. They say they will release an identity and charges at a later time.
And right now, state police say they have taken statements from several witnesses. Again, they for more witnesses and anyone who may have a dash cam video of this tragic incident.
All right, are you there, Truth?
Yeah, I'm in and out.
All right. I know, I see you. This is the part I was talking about, though. Listen to these ladies, man. These ladies are crazy. They get so upset because they can't fly. Oh, he's out again. He's having trouble, but maybe he'll be back. But listen to this lady, dude, or ladies. They get so upset. The town voted not to fly the thin blue flag. They allowed the pride flag, which was already up to stay, but they would not allow the thin blue line flag because they said it represented racism and a few other things. But there was actually people outraged, as you think there would be. Well, let me know what you guys think. I don't think it should be flown. It's clear there's a no hate policy for flags. So why would they allow that one? And it's an altered American flag. You can't do that. Like me and Truth were talking about that right before this started. And
Exactly.
it's watch how upset these ladies get, dude. They really go in and you'll see. It's just crazy.
There's new outrage in the town of Wethersfield, Connecticut, after its Democrat-led council refused to fly the thin blue line flag following an officer's death. Connecticut State Trooper First Class Aaron Pelletier was struck and killed during a routine traffic stop last week. He was just 34 years old. He left behind a wife and 2 young boys. Pelletier was laid to rest this past Wednesday, and thousands came out to pay their final respects. But earlier this week, one of the town's Republican council members proposed flying the thin blue line flag in Pelletier's honor. Seems like a great idea. He says the flag is a sign of respect for those who keep our community safe. But wait, Democrats on the council voted down that proposal, calling it divisive.
I will absolutely not support the thin blue line flag if that's the flag that's the decision. That flag was either created or at least became very prevalent in direct response to the Black Lives Matter protests. It's viewed as antagonistic, even if you don't see it that way. And I don't think that's a good flag to fly, especially not with further discussion.
Fact check false. The flag was created in 1950, but the facts of no moment.
She's talking about the facts. I went online and I found some stuff that indicated that it was actually made before then, but I don't think we'll ever be 100% sure. And I don't think that lady necessarily said that's when it was made. She said it could have been, but it also became prevalent during those times. This little lady here just has nothing else to really talk about, I guess.
Moment. Mayor Wethersfield suggested the flag is racist.
It is now been used by white supremacist groups and other far-right types of groups. And even many police departments around the country and in the state of Connecticut have said we don't authorize or use that flag.
So instead of flying the thin blue line flag in a fallen officer's honor, the town flew a rainbow pride flag at half staff, which they had already agreed to fly for Pride Month. Sandra, I don't understand. This is an officer who passed, and it seems like flags are becoming so controversial. They have definite historic meaning, and people are just weaponizing them to mean something different. And in this time, in the face of...
They do have a meaning. Our American flag means more than any other flag to us. You know what I mean? Like they're trying to act like that flag has the most meaning or should be flown. Like, no. What we're saying is we have one flag, and that's how much we love that one flag. You know what I mean? Like, we love that one flag so much, we're not going to let you make a knockoff and turn it into a gangbanging flag. You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense to me. And they're really upset about it. They're really mad. She's really pissed. And I bet you this lady's never even had a real interaction with the cops or went out and seen how the cops treat people on a daily basis or talk to any cops that wear that thin blue line on their uniform, because more times than not, they're not good. You know what I mean? So you can make whatever opinion you want up in this office when if you don't deal with these situations, you don't know what is actually even going on out there. You just get what you get on a piece of paper and read it.
Of a fallen officer.
Imagine being a part of that, voting no. Voting that down, voting to fly a flag in support of the blue, because that's what happened here in that town. When asked, a Democrat member of the...
We absolutely agreed to fly a flag more than the blue, our own flag. Like, I don't know what's so hard to get about that.
Council about the thin blue line flag. It's viewed as antagonistic, she says, even if you don't see it that way. And I don't think that's a good flag to fly, especially not without further discussion. Let's have that discussion. Why is that a bad thing? And is she supporting the police? Because everything she has said on the record after voting that flag down to be flown after his death, I don't see any show of support or solidarity with the police. She also said it represents racism, antagonism to many, many people. It's not appropriate to raise this above town hall, especially when our flag policy prohibits us from doing anything associated with hate. I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah, and the flag represents, Kennedy, the thin blue line is the line that keeps us between good and evil, bad and wrong, criminals and safety. It represents the line, the police officers who you call on, who this lady would call on if she was in trouble.
Yeah, the toughest job, and also something very sacred when an officer is killed in the line of duty. And you have to acknowledge that, you have to display it, and you have to respect it if you want to have a civil society. And, you know, why not be a little bit more respectful toward law enforcement and reach out? I mean, you elect toxic crackpots and they come up with dumb decisions like this with really horrible explanations for what they're doing. Frankly, I'm surprised they're not flying the Palestinian flag.
I am too. That's a good point. You know, and meanwhile, you have Erin Pelletier's widow. She's left with 2 young sons to raise, her husband now gone. And here's what she had to say as she honored her husband.
To my honey, you weren't just my husband. You were my home. You were my heart. You were my safe place and my provider. My best friend, my secret keeper, my favorite gossiper. The light in our smiles will be forever dimmed, and the thought of this world without that laugh seems unimaginable, but has already become real. I promise to keep you alive in our home, in our heart, and in our boys' memories forever.
What up, John?
I love you, and I miss you. I just freaking miss you.
Say again.
Wow. I spoke to Frank Siller of Tunnel to Towers on the phone this morning, and T2T.org will be paying off Dominique, the trooper's widow, their mortgage. They have 2 young sons. Their names are Troy and Zachary, and they were the light of Trooper Aaron.
That family got rich off of this. You'll see, like their mortgage was paid off. Just wait, they're sitting here saying they can't fly the flag. Oh no, this and that. Look at everything else that was done for these people.
And Pelletier's life, as well as his wife, and so that mortgage will be taken care of. So, in grief, they can focus on rebuilding and keeping him in their heart and memory. But in terms of this just grotesque display by these council members in Wethersfield, this is the town council, and so the people of Wethersfield, Connecticut, who live in that town, need to do something about it, and that's just vote them off, get rid of them, because it's disrespectful, and they're a stain on your town, and they will be until you get rid of them.
If they're listening, I just want to say that the town's Facebook page did erupt with harsh criticism of the town council vote. They don't want that to represent them. Many of them are speaking up and out about this decision.
The only bigotry on display here is the fact that they would not fly the thin blue line flag. It's the bigotry and intolerance of anyone who does not fit into their distorted left-wing universe.
They pretty much just keep ranting, and it ends in a second. But like, what do you guys think of that? This is literally, who allowed this to go on the air? Who watched this and was like, "Oh, this is going to be a great TV show"? Like, the only thing they could say is they didn't allow them to fly the thin blue line flag. Everything else that happened for these people was above and beyond. Let's see. We got, this is the GoFundMe here. God damn it. So they allowed him to set up a GoFundMe with the state police and the wife. It's a combined GoFundMe. And what's that? $617,000 here on top of their mortgage being paid off, which was probably a what, $300,000-$400,000 mortgage. And let's see, we got some people they vote. Some people sent, look at this. Oh, somebody sent them 10 grand. One person. That's insane. And then we keep going, and we even got U.S. probation pretrial services donating $1,000. How are we donating $1,000 to them? Whose money is that? You know what I mean? That doesn't make any sense to me. Now we have branches of our state donating our money to this guy's widow. Yeah, truth, you're right about that too. All the benefits from this dude being on the force, everything, his life insurance policy. She's rich for the rest of her life. So, oh, too bad they didn't you know what I mean, get to fly the thin blue line flag, but they got everything else they could have wanted. Let me see. Here we got. This is just some of the people that the police have killed in the past oh god damn it, 5 years. I can't even read it, but this guy Joel Soto, he was fatally shot outside his mother's Manchester home after regional SWAT team called to assist staff from the Department of Corrections attempting to serve a violation of parole warrant. No weapon was found on or near Soto. It remains under investigation. That's what you'll find with a lot of these. They remain under investigation, or they go to trial. And even when Mubarak Solomon, look at him. He 19-year-old college kid. He ran, ended up, I don't know if he crashed or he stopped, but they ended up coming to a stop, and the cop I showed you guys at the beginning of the video, North ended unalived him, shot at the vehicle multiple times. I tried to put the video up, but there's really no way to put it up where they'll approve it and you guys will get to see everything that you should see. But literally, he went to trial, and the great citizens of Connecticut found him not guilty, even though he was 100% guilty. And then there's, who's the other ones? God damn it. This was another one. I can't see it all because there's stuff all over the screen, whatever, on Restream, so I can only read the middle. But this is another one. It's too small at the bottom too, where they got a guy and got him. Here's another one that stemmed from a welfare check, and this is great in New Britain. And they all end the same. Somebody getting shot, investigations happening, or somebody going to trial and winning trial. And it's pathetic, but we don't talk about any of the people that they hurt, or any of the people that they unalive. You know what I mean? Why aren't they doing this? These processions. Look at how many cops were there that we were paying to go there. I'm not saying they shouldn't be able to go, but I don't think you should be going on the clock. Do they give us time off, or do they pay for our time to go to a funeral or a wake? No. I don't think we should be donating money to a state GoFundMe with state money when there's already plenty of money there for them. Yeah, she gets his pension. She's going to get life insurance. She's going to get everything. She's straight. A $600 and something thousand GoFundMe. Her insurance or her mortgage is paid off. You know what I mean? She's not going to have to do anything for the rest of her life. And I think, I mean, that just comes with it. You can't really argue about that. So I think that, okay, she gets that, but I don't think we should be throwing this huge, what do they call this, like circus funeral. You know what I mean? Really throwing this. Look at what they're doing, dude. All them cops that were out on the road left what they were doing, left their job, and went there to stand around there. We don't need 300 cops there. He doesn't need a escort from where his body was to the medical examiner, and then another escort from there to where he's being buried. Like, no. To me, that just screams gang activity. Like, who else does that? Nobody. Throwing fits because they can't fly their flag over our flag. No. And it's crazy. I waited a little bit to talk about it because I wanted to see everything that was going to come out, but like, where's the videos? There's just a lot of stuff that, I don't know, show us the videos. And let's not forget, the state of Connecticut put this dude's life at risk for a $100 seatbelt ticket. a fix it, like, you know what I mean? Like it's not a fix it ticket, but really they made him pay the ultimate cost because they trained him and they had him do all this stuff so that he would do this and he would pull people over for stuff that's really not a crime. It's not a crime. They just made an infraction out of it, and now even though it doesn't really affect anybody but you, you have to wear a seatbelt. You're not reducing crime. You know what I mean? It's not like you pulled over somebody speeding that could have caused an accident. He pulled over somebody, a full-grown adult, that chose to not wear their seatbelt, and he lost his life because of it. He could have told that person, "Hey, let's get off the highway." You know what I mean? There's a lot of things he could have did, and that's what he chose to do. And it sucks. It sucks for his kids. It sucks for his wife. It sucks for, I mean, it even sucks for us, the taxpayers, because we're the ones paying for all this shit. Like, and let's not forget that, in my eyes, they're one of the biggest hazards to public safety out here. Not somebody not wearing their seatbelts. I just watched 3 Willimantic officers in Willimantic fly from the police department to Gilson Square, which is a quarter-mile down the road. Full-blown light sirens, driving on the wrong side of the car or road, almost hitting people, to get to Gilson Square to find out absolutely nothing is going on. They sped there for no reason. Like, you're not protecting anybody. And if a full-grown adult chooses not to wear their seatbelt, that's on them. Like, how's that going to stop them from crashing or reduce them from crashing? It's not. It's going to reduce them. Maybe it might possibly reduce them getting hurt in a car accident, which either way, if you're a full-grown adult, you should have insurance, and you're going to end up paying for it anyway. So it really has nothing to do with the state. They just need to maximize what they can get from us. So literally everything we do is penalized, and we get infractions. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, like when I heard it happen, like the first thing I said was it worth it? Was that petty traffic ticket worth it? And if I was his wife, dude, I wouldn't. I mean, of course she's gonna be thankful because they're giving her all that money and they're doing all that, but they're the ones that put him in that position. The state of Connecticut is the one who unalived him. So she shouldn't be thanking them. She should be very mad at them. Who Nobody else can get out and park on the side of the highway and just hang out. You can't. So why can they? If they want to pull somebody over, why don't they get him off the highway? Follow him off the highway. He had her plate and everything, or her. You know what I mean? He had the plate. He could have mailed the ticket, but he chose to pull him over on the side of what was 84, one of the busy at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That's not a good decision. And again, how much does overtime affect decision making skills? Because would he have made that same mistake if he was not so tired? A lot of these dudes are working 98, 100-hour weeks. Like, exactly. That's a ticket you could have mailed, dude. You don't need to stop somebody for that. It's just ego, authority tripping. You know what I mean? They got to do what they want to do, and if that's what he wants to do. And if he pulls it over, you always know that seatbelt can lead to something else. It can lead to, I smell something. And I love how that's not talked about. What's this guy's disciplinary record? Like, what mistakes has he made? They're just painting him automatically as a hero. And it's not usually always the way it appears, especially here in Connecticut. As we said, look at all the same troopers who just got off with fake tickets. Was he one of the cops that was writing fake tickets? We'll never know because they won't release the names. Go figure. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right, Mushroom. Like, how many innocent people have this guy put in jail? How many rights has this guy violated? How many people has this guy pulled over and harassed for not wearing a seatbelt? For literally doing really nothing wrong? I would bet you tons, because that's what they do. But it just blows my mind that this guy's painted as like he really got painted like he was out there saving a 5-year-old kid from a bad guy. Like, no, he was standing on the side of the highway writing a ticket in traffic. Even if the guy went over the lines like they said, You shouldn't have been there. In all reality, you shouldn't have been there. And I don't know. I don't like how it's being painted. I don't like how it's, but that's what they do. How much money do you guys think state of Connecticut spent on that? They got the Xfinity Center. Did they just get that for free? Did the Xfinity Center just say, here, you can use this, or did they pay for it? And even if they didn't pay for it, they've spent just in cops not being at work that were supposed to be at work that day. There's a lot of money. All our state vehicles being there, they brought canines there, all the fuel to get there. Over George, I'd put way over that. I would put way over that. I would put a lot more than 500,000, dude. But that's just, it may be. I don't know. No, I'd say at least $1 million, probably over $1 million between vehicles, insurance on vehicles that were their fuel, all the cops, they gave the dog. That was the thing too. They gave the dog to the family, which is, I don't know how much a police dog costs, but I'm sure it's a pretty penny. Like they gave this lady everything, and I feel like they should take care of her because they did cost her husband his life, but it shouldn't come off of our back. You know what I mean? It should come off of the pension and the tax dollars, like it is, or not the tax dollars, the insurance, not tax dollars. And then we set up a GoFundMe. Oh yeah, news. We'll see that eventually. Then set up a GoFundMe and get another $600,000 for this family. Like, what up, Deanna? I didn't even want to do this one. I don't even like talking about this stuff, but it's like I seen one other person really talk about it, and it sucks because you don't want to come out here and be the bad guy, like, oh, we shouldn't be doing this, but we shouldn't be paying for. I don't disagree with throwing this guy a decent funeral and doing this and that, but I don't agree with letting every state trooper in the state off work while we're paying them to go to the funeral and then use all of our vehicles and then use all of our gas and our dogs and then go make it look like a real gang showing. Like, who else gets processions like that? From where they're killed to the medical examiner, and then from the medical examiner to where they're buried. Who else? I don't even see them do that. Do they even do that for military? Like, what? Like, they're the only ones that do it. I agree, Neon. They're trying to say that they only left the pride flag because it was Pride Month. Honestly, I don't think I think they should have took that down to that day, and for that day, it should have just been the American flag. But I'm pumped that they didn't allow that blue line flag, and I'm actually surprised that they didn't allow it. If that was Willimantic, that flag would be up, like hands down. That flag would be up, and I don't know. It just sucks because you don't want to see anybody get hurt, but like they teach us when we're young, don't play in traffic, and especially don't play on the highway. And then they pay this guy to basically go do that. Like, it blows my mind. And it sucks either way. The dude's got kids, he's got a wife, like, but everybody spends it. No, you didn't hear once, like I said, you didn't hear one thing about the victim, the real victim in that car. You didn't hear anything on how they're doing, what happened to them, what happened to their property. You didn't hear anything about them at all. Not one thing. Everything was about this cop. Everything. And I think that's kind of pathetic, dude. All them news stories, hours of news stories now on this guy, and not one person I've heard talk about the victim in the car that witnessed this. That was literally just probably going home and got pulled over and literally had this happen. Like, and then of course, instead of everybody coming together and just getting it done, then it's let's argue over a flag that obviously is not acceptable. And then not just does the town shoot it down, but then all these ladies want to go on and talk about it in the media, like in these news shows, and try and act like these people are wrong for not allowing this gang flag to fly over this officer. And they're going to talk about they're going to tell people what the flag means when that's just their opinion. That's what it means to them. And these are people that that don't even deal with the police. You know what I mean? Like, You know that. You know they don't go out there and have interactions like everybody else. So it blows my mind, and I figured it had to be talked about at least a little bit. And it's the people of Connecticut need to wake up. Like, wake up. I'll make sure the next time they get somebody, we'll go to the police department and we'll ask why they're not doing all this for them. But it won't work. It just blows my mind. It's sad to see. And they do it without even any thought. Yeah, we're gonna spend all this money. We're gonna make this guy look like a top tier hero, and you know what I mean. It doesn't even make sense to me. I agree with you, Michigan. I agree. It is a desecrated flag, and it's crazy that somebody would even ask for that. And the dude that asked was the ex-firefighter. I think he was the chief firefighter. But his dad was on the Blue Line gang, so it meant a lot to him. And I don't know, it just blows my mind. And it blows my mind that somebody would even, like those ladies, would produce that as a show. Somebody would watch that and go, yeah, this is great content. We're going to put that out. No, dude. It's whatever. I mean, the only thing we could do is laugh at it, I guess. But that's how much they try and persuade people. Like, really look at this, and you guys are really going to think it's wrong to not fly the thin blue line flag, because that's what everybody's saying on whatever that was, whatever NBC or Fox. You know what I mean? No. And like they said, 26 troopers in the whole history of the Connecticut State Police have died on duty. Okay. 21 people have been killed by the cops in the past 5 years in Connecticut. The numbers aren't the same, and you don't see you know what I mean? You don't see our treatment like that. We don't get that. We get painted out, even if we did nothing wrong. We get painted out as the bad guy, and our families are stuck paying for everything. And well, yeah, and Neon News, you know what's funny about that is they tried to compromise and say, well, we'll fly the first responder flag, and that they said no, that wasn't good enough for the guy who brought the motion forward. He said it's not, the first responders and police aren't the same. So I agree with you, and it doesn't matter. We have a flag. That's the flag they serve. It doesn't matter if they make twist offs of it on the side for their gangs. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean anything. It means something to them, but to everybody they're serving, you know what I mean? The rest of us red-blooded Americans, that's not acceptable. It's not acceptable at all. And it's sad to see, because Wethersfield, who was so against that flag, was willing to fly the other flag, and that shouldn't have been the case at all. They said tons of people were upset about this. Maybe we should go, instead of protesting, we'll make a sign thanking the board of Wethersfield, and we'll go stand out there and let them know that we appreciate their decision. I bet it does news now. It's crazy. Yeah, John, I'm not even a veteran and it annoys me. You know what I mean? Like, we have a flag. There's no reason to alter it. There's no reason. It's just not needed. And it's sad that not only that it's been allowed to happen, but it's been allowed to get this far. Like, where it's gotten far enough to where they think it's okay to blatantly ask to try and fly it next to our flag. And yeah, George, people died for it. Exactly. But it's F them. It's the Blue Line Gang, and it's whatever the Blue Line Gang wants. Truth coming back on?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm hoping that it'll go through this time. So.
It sounds better.
Oh yeah, well I noticed whenever I was went back over to my channel and was checking out, because I'm restreaming it started doing a lot better. So I figured it might let me back up. So
Hopefully. We're just talking about this flag, dude.
yeah, well I mean I was in chat, I was going off, dude, because it.
Well, you there?
Even that news reporter, at the place, even he began to be talked about. It should
You're
even,
cutting in
be
and
more
out
attention
again,
to what
bro.
we're about.
Oh, there you go. It's just, people died for that flag. Americans died for that flag. Americans that got drafted. Americans that volunteered to go to war. You know what I mean? And it's been, I don't know. I don't think we did all this just to. He's gone again. But just to allow these people to come in and just do whatever they want with it. It's not cool. And it shouldn't. They shouldn't even be comfortable enough to be like, "Hey, we're gonna come ask for that." Like, no, you should know the answer. And like I said, I'm glad the board shut it down. And it's sad to see that they're getting painted. They're getting painted as such horrible people for literally doing the right thing. That flag definitely represents racism and antagonism and all sorts of other stuff. And damn, that's crazy. Uh, Michigan Crusader. I'm sorry, Truth. I don't know why it's doing that. You were fine for a second, then you started breaking up, and then you were gone. But that's it, anyways. I just wanted to bring some light to this and see what people thought, because I think it looks like a pretty much like a circus. You know what I mean? They're putting on a show. They're trying to get back into people's good graces after this ticket scandal that they're still trying to sweep under the rug, that they already pretty much have swept under the rug. And they're trying to, it's literally like Stockholm. They're trying to trick the people into, like, saying, "Oh, thank you for stopping me for no goddamn reason. Thank you for putting your life on the line to give me this ticket that means absolutely nothing to anybody." Like, it blows my mind. Why would I thank you? Why, you know what I mean? Oh, you're a hero because you got out of the road, you pulled over on the side of the highway and decided to harass somebody and give them a ticket for no seatbelt and got hit by a car. That's what happens. That's literally what happens when you get. That's why you're not allowed to get out on the highway. So, as much as, and I'm not trying to seem heartless, because I mean I do feel for them, but they put you in that situation. You shouldn't be out there doing that in the first place. But we know they're gonna. But you figure they get smarter over the years, and they could easily tell that, hey, anybody, hey, pull up the next exit. You know what I mean? Let's get off the highway, and they don't. They really think that car and that costume makes them invincible, and they could just stand on the side of the road and it's gonna stop cars, I guess. Like, I don't know, but it doesn't work like that. And it sucks. He's got young kids, real young kids, wife. I mean, I'm glad that they're at least set for the rest of their life. But no. And I agree, News Now. That's great. We don't, who, like I said, who we do that for? That was pretty intense. And that's a lot of money that who they're just deciding to throw away because that's what they want to do. Nobody. But I'm gonna jump off, guys. I just wanted to show everybody that. Truth, thank you for coming on. I don't know what happened there at the end. Absolutely overkill. There's no reason other than to put on a show. Literally, that's what it's for. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Stay safe and keep going. Thank you, brother.